If you've ever hit the garage door opener button, heard the usual motor sound, but then saw that nothing moved, the door didn't open, you might have encountered the dreaded broken coupler on a LiftMaster opener. I've had this happen twice now, and there are some good videos on doing the repair, but none mentioned the adjustment I had to make. My LiftMaster opener uses a screw drive, so it has a threaded rod down the support rail, and the motor connects to that threaded rod through the coupling. So here you see the motor output is this splined coupling, and then the rod, the threaded rod, is this spline coupling, and then here's the broken connector, the broken coupling. This part is called the slide. It's like a nut on a screw. So when you turn the screw or the rod, the slide moves, and that slide is connected to the carriage, and the carriage is actually connected to the door. Well, what I should have said is the slide is usually connected to the carriage, but here you can see they're separated. And that's because I pulled down on this rope, and that allows you to disconnect the carriage from the slide. So why did I disconnect them? Well, for me, the coupler broke when the door was kind of in mid-span. So it wasn't all the way at the top and it wasn't all the way at the bottom. And then after hitting the button a couple of times and testing things and the motor runs, the motor and the door are now well out of sync. And the way to get them back in sync is to start the motor and trip the safety beam with your foot, which will cause the motor to back up. So now you know that the motor is all the way in the up position. After that, you hit the button again and the motor will run, and it will run such that it believes the door is all the way in the down position, which is where you want it. Okay, but finally, now we get to the point of the video. But now you have this problem where the slide is not lining up with the carriage. Remember now the carriage attached to the door is in the down position. So now you want to move that slide so that it is in line with the carriage. So I lost some of my early video on taking the opener down, but you can see here that I just propped it up on a box on a ladder, and that gave me access to the backside of the rail. And you can look at some of the other videos as to how they disconnected the rail. It's just a couple of bolts. And that allows you to remove the broken pieces of the coupler, and then gives you room to insert the new coupler. And then finally what I'm doing here is simply spinning that coupler, which is actually spinning the rod, the threaded rod through the support rail counterclockwise. And so this is like a nut on a screw. So I spin the screw counterclockwise, the nut will push away, and that will push that slide toward the carriage. So you can see here the mark on the left where my finger is shows where the slide started, and then by spinning the rod it's moved to the right. Okay, so now that I have the slide pretty close to where the carriage is, I can slide the motor forward so it engages with the coupler. So now everything's connected that way, and then I just have to remount the motor. Yeah, apologies for the poor video here. I missed these two bolts that connect the motor and the support rail together. Then once those bolts are in, then the whole unit can be pulled back up towards the rafters and mounted. Of course, then it can be plugged in, and then it's time to give it a try. So I thought I ran the slide forward manually far enough, but it was just a little short when I gave it a test run. So I'll just have to make up for that with the adjustments on a motor. Yeah, you can see here it's stopping just short. So then I go over to the motor and use this adjustment, which allows me to just move the motor a little bit farther. And then of course I needed just one last tweak, and then that did it. So this did it for me. I hope this is helpful to someone else out there.